Hello, welcome back to the queue. So soon with Stalingrad, the new Axis and Allies game. I got the other day and did an unboxing video. We're going to look at the setup here and the map and some of its features. After reading through the rule book, I did discover some of the features that I was unaware of during the unboxing on the map, but now they've been made clear, or at least I know briefly what they look like or what they do. We'll see. We'll see. One of the interesting things about the initial setup is you have, like the North African game, a force pool of units that you can start with, and then you can't put any more of these on the board, which is why to set up I've got everything chipped maximum except for one, and we'll go over that here in a second. Move that back. The Russians had 28 infantry. I've got 19 with rifles and 9 with just ammunition. So when some of the 19 fall, then they can come up and grab the rifle and they'll be ready to go. So that's how that works. At least it did in the movie. So when I was looking at the map or the rule book about some of the things on the map, this ambush site, that was what I was referring to when I was chipping out. Here at the grain factory, we've got 3 infantry that start there, but I've got it 2 and 1 because I want to, on the first turn, even though there's no Germans around, I want to get 1 infantry into the ambush site. And what that does is it allows them, this is their mechanic for snipers, sneak attacks, coming up through the sewers, hitting and running. They can attack any one of these 4 zones that touch the ambush site. The dice for the infantry is a special 2 because they normally attack at 1, but from an ambush site they attack at a 2. Rolling a 2, the German player picks the casualty, but if the Russians roll a 1, now they get to pick. So this could be a problem, if there was tanks or artillery in this zone here. They would get to choose one of the one of the better units. Sometimes the words don't come out right. Now, they kind of are trapped there until they can retreat into a friendly zone. Say the Germans were in these 3 zones. They can't join in with an attack. They can do their ambush attack, but they have to stay there. But if the Russian player wants to retreat this guy out, say there's nobody in this zone, they just pull back as long as this is a Russian-controlled zone. So there are some, I wouldn't say drawbacks, because I think that's a pretty neat mechanic, the ambush site. So some of the other things, they have bunkers. I've used some fortification markers from my set that I play with. I brought in some factories. There's nothing special about this factory. These 2 factories, though, are Barricade factory. I don't know if that's said that right. So that has an artillery figure in that factory, and the tractor factory has a special tank symbol. So on the reinforcement card, every other turn, and I think I don't know which one it is. Say turn 1, you get a free tank. Turn 2, you get a free artillery. Turn 3, free tank. And that goes on until they are captured. And then you still, I think it says every even or odd turn. So there will be turns when you don't get anything. If they're both captured, obviously you get nothing. But if they're retaken by Russian forces, then they can start producing on that schedule. So you can't really get rid of that. That's kind of cool. These ferries markers go over these dotted lines. They are attackable. The German bombers can knock these out. Supply lines are traced through these ferries. Infantry and supply tokens can go through those ferries, but no other units. So knocking these out with the German bombers will eventually be critical when the battle gets in here. some of the other markers, the airfields, I didn't know how they worked. Here's how they work. Planes, whether it's fighters or bombers, can go unlimited moves, and then they return to the air bases. There's a maximum of 4 aircraft per air base. So Germany starts with 6. Russia's only starts with 2. So they've got to decide if they want to invest in aircraft. But I kind of think, with as weakly defended as Stalingrad is, they might want to get more infantry in there. So the aircraft or the airports are tied to the aircraft. There is a stacking limit. Like I said, it's 4 aircraft per airfield. And then land units is 8 per territory. So technically in this territory here with a German airfield, you could have 4 planes and 8 land units. 8 is a pretty good number. I kind of like that you can't stack, like the Russians can't just stack everything here and avoid the Germans from getting into Stalingrad from that territory. While we're talking about it, that's how you get from the main board to the city board. And they've color coordinated it, which is kind of nice. Pretty good idea. So from the north, you got this gray from here. And I'm not going to pronounce any of these territories. Russian, every territory is a Russian name. And when I was setting this up, this was really kind of crazy, not knowing, where all this is and not being easily identifiable of the territories. But after you set it up a couple of times, I'm sure it becomes old hat. But this first time, it was rough. So anyway, each territory links up with the colors that you come in, which ironically links up with the colors on the city map. So you know exactly where you come in, and it actually does say, from where you're coming from. So no big deal there. The ferries and their supply system is also color coordinated. So your supplies would come over into here. Well, it only supplies this gray area. This only supplies this. So that's kind of why you want to get your supplies across, because if that's blown and you've got some supplies over here, you're still in supply. At least that's, like I said, I've read through the rules once. We're going to play it. I say we, it's just going to be me this weekend. I'll play it, and hopefully there'll be some aha moments where you look at, oh, that's how the rules work, or that's how I didn't know and I did it wrong. But at that point, we'll find out some good information on the rules, I think. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, in the setup here, what's interesting is you've got a battle, 2 battles that are already in place, and as I stick my hand in front of the camera, an unsupplied marker on this battle. But before I get into that, how the battles work, it's a 1-round battle. So say these Italians want to go after these infantry in Gromoslavka. At least I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that. So they would move in and you place the assault marker. And let's say they only get 2 hits, so 1 guy survives. That turns that into a battle, and this territory is now contested. So these territories are contested, and they're out of supply. Supply is traveling. These are in supply because of 2 reasons. They're next to an Axis territory, and they also are in a territory where the road goes off the map. So that's in supply, that's in supply, that's in supply. So if you're next to any of those, and this is German, you're in supply. This is not because of this contested territory with these Russian units in it. So that makes this territory unsupplied. So my thinking is, if I can use these forces and some aircraft and hit this and knock this out in 1 turn, and then now it's back to German territory, this instantly becomes supplied. So now these guys will fight and hopefully clear them out in one round, place a control marker, and then round 2 we can get closer to getting into Stalingrad. If they get hung up here in these two territories, Germany is going to be in trouble, I think. But that's just my thoughts. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But it's interesting that they started the game giving you these scenarios so you get used to the mechanics, which is kind of nice. As far as anything else I want to talk about, I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, the tracker here. So I'm playing the 13 turn scenario 1, which is the long one. So the first 2 turns, it says not one step back. So on this board here, what that means is none of these Russian units can move in any fashion backwards. They have to maintain contact with the Germans or attack them. Which, you know, I get, because if the Germans don't attack some of these and they all flood back into Stalingrad, that makes it crazy. But that was Stalin. He issued, and it says in the rule book, I think it's might be Order 227, maybe. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on the number, but it was the not one step back order, which really caused Russian casualties to be really high at the opening stages here. Turn 3, you start drawing these Operation Uranus cards. Well, that was a glare. And how that works is you'll draw 2 as the Russian player. You will not reveal them to the German player. And then you place one of these cards would go here on this side, and then this other card would go up north. And then that would be your reinforcements that turn. But they're secret. You don't put them on the board. You wait until Operation Uranus begins. So turn 4, you would do the same thing. You put 2 cards. And you can choose, if you want, say there's 2 fighters here, maybe you want a fighter down here. So you'll switch those cards out, you know. So, and then you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn 7, you have to launch the attack. And that's the end of your cards. No more cards. So say you launch the attack on 5, you got these 2 cards. So these are your units that you launch the attack with. So at turn 5, you can go here, and that's what what these numbers were for here. 3, if you launch it early, you can only go there. And if you wait till 7, you can come in all 3 of those, or just 1. But this one's a good one because you're 2 away from cutting off Stalingrad. Up here, the numbers go the other direction. So there must be a reason why 7 would come in up here. But like I said, if you come in at 7, you can still come in over here at 3. It's just, that's how they've got this. So it's beneficial to wait, 6 or 7 to get those extra units. Now I think, and don't quote me on this, if you launch that, like say you draw cards through turn 5, turn 6 you launch your attack. I think you still get your reinforcement card for 6, and then you get your reinforcement card for 7. It's just that they start back here while the attack has already moved on. They just have to catch up. So I think that's how that works. And then, like I said, at round 7, you stop drawing cards. Round 6 is when you start to roll for your weather. 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, starts really getting bad. But honestly, 3 or less, that's a 50-50 chance of bad weather. Bad weather affects your aircraft and the rivers. The first bad weather roll freezes the Don River here, which takes away one of your defensive buffs. So the Russians, by the time this freezes, they're off that riverbank anyway. That really takes it away from the Germans and Italians. The second time bad weather is rolled, it freezes the Volga River, which your ferries now become ice bridges. They can't be destroyed. Units can still be attacked on there, though. So when they're moving, they start in this territory. That's one move. They have to stop. and it's only one unit at a time, and then they can go on there. Well, they can still be attacked here and destroyed, so that is interesting. And the planes can attack that land unit, and it does not get to fire back. So the only thing you've got firing back is your anti-aircraft fire from the artillery, which they don't have actually anti-aircraft units. They use the artillery, so it has a dual purpose of anti-aircraft and then artillery as in combat. The last thing on the board is this Operation Winter Storm. Now that's when Germany gets to spend a lot of its money on a counterattack to relieve Stalingrad. And for scenario 2, it starts on 10, but scenario 1, it says put this on the round track. So I don't know where it comes in, unless I've got that backwards. And maybe it starts in play on the scenario 2. Maybe that's it. That makes more sense. Like I'm playing scenario 1, and then turn 10 is when the German reinforcements come in to try and break the siege. So, like I said, I've read the rules through once. I'm notorious for getting things a little off base in some areas, so that might be one of them. So that is a look at the game, the setup and the map and some of the features. I do like what I see so far. We will see after the first game, which I probably will start rolling some dice tonight, play a turn or two, just to get things rolling, finish it up this weekend. Might do a video at the end just to see some thoughts. I do have one concern right off the bat, and I haven't played it yet, so I'm going to hang on. I'm going to hang on to that concern, and we'll see if that is real or if it's just made up in my mind. Anyway, thanks for watching, and look for another video. I think I'm going to throw this in a playlist, make a Stalingrad playlist, and any future videos we'll just drop in there.